Whenever we enter a room with people we don't know, we tend to scan who's there and make initial impressions. It could be a meeting, a new job situation, a classroom, or a variety of other contexts. These impressions or judgments may have their roots in implicit biases. For example, how do we read body language based upon gender, race, age, among other characteristics? And what assumptions do we make about who they are? And how do these inform decisions regarding who we would prefer to spend time with? To explore this situation, we are inviting you to enter an imaginary yet plausible scenario. Imagine that you're in a classroom and are asked to get into groups of 2 for an upcoming graded assignment. Based upon these sculptures, who would be your first choice as a working partner? Take about 25 seconds to look at facial expressions, body positioning, and subtle and not so subtle gestures. Also, maybe determine who would be your last choice. When you have made your decision, put your number into the chat, but do not press enter. We would like to have them all entered at the same time. And press your choice. So with that, we have a lot of number 6s, and sometimes nicknames are great. So I'm going to start with Saj. Why number 2?
I chose number 2 because she has her hand on her left side. So that for me is like she has her hand on her heart. She's very, I guess, caring and welcoming. So I'd want to work with her or someone like that who is caring and trusting.
So that's the first time I've ever heard that, hand on the heart. That's great. This is so we all are reading different things to it. And I think you're the only person who chose number 2, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So let's start that. I see only one person, and that's not saying it's good or bad, but only one person chose number 1, and that was, and how do you pronounce your name?
Raneem.
Raneem. Okay, Raneem.
Yes. So I'm not really sure why, but I just thought that they would be a hard worker and they would really pull in their weight, and it would be easy to work with them because they'd know what they'd be doing.
So for you, an important aspect of someone who's working at a team who's going to pull their weight as much as you feel you're going to pull your weight. And so you read that into the body. So with that, and again, these are all questions that there's no real answer to other than that we have our own particular way of reading the world. And once we do, or experiencing the world, we may make changes. Who would probably be the least likely if that was your criteria? Sorry.
Probably the person who had their hands. Yeah, so number 3.
Number 3?
Yes, least likely to work with.
And why is that? What do you read in that particular image?
That they might be insecure and that they might not be, they may not know what they're doing. So I wouldn't really want to work with someone who wouldn't want to pull their weight.
Okay, again, that's I'm going to build on that. Okay, so confidence. Okay, let's take a look at just the feet. both of these for me give a sense of confidence, but Mo, for you, which one is more confident? And I'm curious because I have my own and I'm using you as a way to help me detect some of my own personal biases, implicit biases. Which one would you say of the two is the most confident based upon the feed?
Honestly, I think I would stick with my answer 6 just because, yeah, kind of like it's a little bit wider open than shoulder width apart. So kind of just, and it's more centered facing forward. So kind of just pushes the narrative that, she's not shy. She's, comfortable, open, and confident.
Yeah. And for me here, we're going to use a Mentimeter, and Kevin had put into the chat box the Mentimeter. And what we're going to ask you to do is take up to, you don't have to go to, but up to 6 different words you would use to describe number 4. So some people might choose 2, some person 1, one person all 6. And what you're going to do is in the Mentimeter, and then we're going to take a look at that collection from the Mentimeter. Kevin, do you want to explain that just for another 30 seconds or so? And I'll get over here and close my screen.
Yeah, so in the chat, there's a link to the Mentimeter. So all you have to do is click on it and it should take you straight there. And then when you get to the Mentimeter, it'll just ask you, give a single word descriptor, or, it can be double words, whatever. And then hit send or return. And we'll see what ultimately happens in the Mentimeter as the words will pop up, and I'll be able to share that with everybody. So first things first, click on the link and go to the Mentimeter, and I'm certainly hoping everyone can do that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen. There we go. Hoping everyone can see this.
So take about 30 seconds to look at some of the major ones and some of the smaller ones and see which ones he fits with your choices and which ones not.
Interesting. There's some polar opposite words, like intimidating besides safe.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting how we see each other so differently. Or passive and aggressive right beside each other.
And confident and stubborn. That's an interesting mix, and more than one person chose each of those. And part of the entire purpose of this workshop is to help us become a little bit more aware of our readings and question those readings.